We are back after the lightning delay. It lasted about half an hour. And in case you are just tuning in, or if you forgot, we can go over a brief recap of what has gone down so far through 1.5 innings. In the top of the first, the Sartell Sabres put up 2 runs on 2 RBI singles. And that's how the scoring got started here this evening. But in the bottom of the first, the Spuds were able to answer back. They were able to get a run off a wild pitch and a throwing error on the catcher for the Sabres, Will Thompson. And that made it 2-2. In the top of the second, the Sabres were able to retake the lead on an RBI single from Gavin Schulte. That made it 3-2. And that's where we are right now. It is 3-2 on the Eventide scoreboard through 1.5 innings here at Bucky Burgell Field. In case you forgot, I'm Thomas Fox. Thanks for tuning in to Boys Baseball on Spuds TV, presented by Muscatel Subaru. Braden Simmons is back on the mound. He's done pretty solid, if I could say the least. Or pretty solid, to say the least. He will face Logan Hilber, Reese Boney, and Austin Schwantz to begin the second inning for the Spuds. Hilber got on base 3 times yesterday in the loss. 2 walks, and he was hit by a pitch. And he fouls one off his foot there. He seems to be okay. No balls and a strike to the Spuds left fielder. Braden Simmons, through 1 so far, has a strikeout. And speaking of strikeouts, he's on the verge of getting his second one, as he has Hilber in an 0-2 hole. Oh, 2. Called strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Braden Simmons. 1 away in the bottom of the second. So Hilber strikes out on 3 pitches. Backwards K for Braden Simmons. And Reese Boney steps up to the plate. Reese Boney was superb in the game yesterday as he grounds one that gets past both the third baseman and the second baseman, or sorry, the shortstop, and into left field. That went past everybody there, as it went past Gavin Schulte and Wesley Johnson. So that'll count as a base hit for Boney, as nobody was able to get a glove on it. Here's Austin Schwantz. Runners lead. Simmons with the 0-1. That is ripped right to second baseman for 1, and that is a double play. Sabres get out of the second. Jake Grubely able to start a 4-6-3 double play that keeps the game at 3-2 going into the third inning.
Before I became a real boy, life was easy. I just sat there doing sandwich stuff. But being alive is so hard. So if you don't want to get up to get a sandwich, you shouldn't have to.
3-2 Sabres here in the top of the third inning, as Braden Simmons was able to get Austin Schwantz to ground into a 4-6-3 double play. Gavin Quaid is back on the mound for the Spuds. And he's done his part. He's definitely improved since the first inning. Quaid has 2 strikeouts through 2 innings. He has given up 4 hits, or 3 runs on 4 hits. And he's also given up 2 walks. So Sartell has really thrown a couple punches at Gavin Quaid so far, but Quaid is doing everything in his power to get out of those jams that he was in. Jake Grubely will lead things off here for Sartell in the third, and 3 balls and no strikes early. Strike 1. Good job from Quaid getting back into the count. It's now 3-1. That is chopped foul towards the left side. Grubely walked in his last at-bat in the first inning. And he shoots one to left field. That is a base hit for Jake Grubely. And a leadoff single here in the top of the third inning for the Sabres. Here's Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson takes a strike to begin his at-bat. Runner takes off. That gets away from Wilson, and that should count as a wild pitch for Gavin Quaid. And the runner took off, so it should count as a stolen base if I'm correct. Regardless, there's a runner in scoring position for Sartell, 1-1, and that is fouled off the body of Wesley Johnson. It's now 1-2. Johnson did have an RBI single in the top of the first, part of a 2-run inning for the Sabres. He and Andrew Ritter both driving in runs. And called strike 3. Looked like a curveball. Caught Wesley Johnson off guard there, and that's strikeout number 3 for Quaid. And there's 1 gone here in the third. Here's Dylan Simmons. Tried laying down a bunt, but he takes a strike instead. Quaid is going to have to keep him off balance to avoid the possible bunt. And that is into right field. That's a base hit. Rounding third and coming to the plate is Grubely. And he's safe. Throw is wide. Up the line. Throw to second. In time. And that's out number 2. But Dylan Simmons has an RBI single. And it is 4-2 Sabres on the Eventide scoreboard. A good throw from Colin Wilson to record the second out. Simmons was getting aggressive on the base paths. But he paid the price as Wilson was able to gun him down. Here's the 0-1 from Quaid to Brendan Bozen. And that's strike 2. I'm sorry, it's 1-1. Looked like a strike on that pitch, but just missed the zone. Two-one. That is ripped right to Austin Schwantz. This should end the inning, and it does. Austin Schwantz making things look easy as he's able to field that cleanly for out number 3. Spuds due up to bat in the bottom of the 3rd. And the top of the lineup will be due up for the Spuds.
Before I became a real boy, life was easy. I just sat there doing sandwich stuff. But being alive is so hard. So if you don't want to get up to get a sandwich, you shouldn't have to.
To show up to work every day, it's not a job. It's not just a paycheck. It ultimately is a way of life. And to add that extra smile in someone's day is what gets me to work every day. And in return, to just receive those smiles and those thank yous or those squeezes of your hand is so meaningful. And it really brings me back every day.
4-2 Sabres here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Sartell was able to get an RBI single from Dylan Simmons. That made it a 4-2 game. Simmons was gunned down though by Colin Wilson as he tried to turn that single into a double. Now the Spuds are due up to bat, and the top of the order will bat this inning, starting with Carter Heinz, who had a leadoff single his last time up. Braden Simmons starts with a strike to Carter Heinz. Here's the 0-1. That is pulled foul towards the right side and towards the first base coach. So for the moment, we should be in the clear from any potential lightning and rain the rest of the way. And a good pitch that just misses the zone. Heinz stays alive in the count. It's now 1-2. And that almost hit Heinz in the feet. He's able to avoid it just in time. Looked like Simmons tried to go on the inside corner but couldn't. Tries to go outside this time, and Heinz doesn't bite. Full count to Heinz. That is into center field on the run. It's going to be played on a hop for a base hit. Dylan Simmons looked like he was going to try to dive for it, but instead he played it on a bounce. And Carter Heinz is 2 for 2. He's starting to get hot. On a full count pitch, Carter Heinz able to go to center field. Heinz was 1 for 5 yesterday. Now he's 2 for 2. A very good bounce back game for Heinz. As Braden Simmons faces Titan Bergeson, who lays down a pretty good bunt that will at least advance Heinz to scoring position. Bergeson's out number 1. And Colin Wilson has a chance to make it 4-3 with Heinz in scoring position. So a sack bunt for Titan Bergeson. And a very smart one at that, as not only Heinz is in scoring position, but as you might know, he is very fast. And there was a brief meeting at the mound between Braden Simmons and Will Thompson. There's Colin Wilson digging in for the second time today. He popped out to short in his last at bat. It's 1-0. That is to left field, a base hit. Heinz will